This is Michael Spedden, and welcome to Fowl Players Radio, your one-stop shop for all of your pop culture needs. We feature interviews from musicians, actors, comics, dancers, authors, and much, much more, up-and-coming artists and beloved favorites. We've got it all, people on stage, backstage, out front, and behind the scenes. Sit back and relax. Let's have some fun.
This is Carrie Zaruba, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio with Michael Spedden.
This is Skinzakis, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio.
And welcome again to another episode of Fowl Players Radio, Season 11, Episode 19. Season 11, we've got 11. Denny Grace from Thrill Ride joins us to talk about his new material, a recent gig at Fishhead Cantina, and to reminisce about the days of Baltimore music scene gone by. Thrill Ride's website is under construction, so their Facebook and Instagram pages are what they are using for that in the meantime. Links to both of them are in the show notes. The Fowl Players of Perryville are back in action and have upcoming shows on the Western Maryland Scenic Railroad, Fifth Company Brewing, Susky River Beverage Company, Maryland Party Boat, Madigan's Waterfront, and others. If you are interested in seeing a show, our website is www.fowlplayersofperryville.com. If you're interested in booking us, foulplayersperryville@yahoo.com or 443-600-0446. Every Tuesday from 4 to 6 p.m. And the replay Sundays 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time is The Back of the Rack, the Michael Spedden Show on 97underground.com, where we feature songs you forgot you liked, classics that never die, interviews with up-and-coming and classic beloved bands. Go to 97underground.com and download the free app today and listen to us wherever you go. Also, follow our YouTube page, youtube.com/@97underground Michael Spedden. We thank you for watching and listening to Fowl Players Radio. Our main website is foulplayersradio.com, and our YouTube channel, youtube.com/@foulplayersradio. Remember to support our guests in their endeavors. Links to their books, albums, tickets to their shows, and much, much more can be found in the show notes of each episode. We'll be right back with Denny Grace from Thrill Ride.
Hey, you're listening to Fowl Players Radio. We're Chatterbox. I'm vocalist Billy.
I'm Mike, play drums.
AJ, bass. Kevin, guitar.
Pay attention to this cat. He knows what he's doing.
Fowl Player Radio.
Michael Spedden, listen.
Hi, this is Will Sims, and you're listening to Fowl Players Radio.
And welcome back to another episode of Fowl Players Radio, Season 11. We've got 11 episodes. We goes to 11, maybe even 12 seasons if people will still listen and have me. But we are here today. I'm here to tell you that we have brought Denny Grace from Thrill Ride onto the show today to talk about playing music in this area, something that we've both done, and we've got a lot to talk about with that. A recent performance he had at Fishhead Cantina and a bunch of other things he's doing. How getting this band together was anything but easy, too. The struggles that we all go through, but it seems like he just had, God, the perfect storm of things happen. But, I'm glad that you pulled through. And we've played your stuff on 97, and it's sounding good. You've got good, solid material, great stuff. So welcome. Welcome, my friends. So how's it going?
Doing well, man. Doing well. So like I said, it's still kind of on a little bit of a high from our debut show Friday. So I'm feeling pretty good.
It's amazing how you can come on in this business, no matter what you're doing. You're as good as your last show. You have a great last show, you're high for a good while. You have a bad show, you're just like, ugh. Nothing worse than living with that until the next one,
Yep.
Yeah, it makes you want to come out swinging, though. I tell you,
Oh, sure. And we're all prone to them, Yeah. Sadly, nobody's safe.
Right. So tell us about you. It was just Fishhead that you did, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It was it was a pre-party for the M3 Fest. One of the many pre-parties for the M3 Festival.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, very, very, very fun. Very fun show.
Did you go to the festival too?
Oh yeah. I hung out all weekend there. Had a great time. Yeah.
Yep. They're getting cover bands there, man. What's up with that?
But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I know. I think they have one right. They had Van Halen play. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but so I missed them. I didn't get there in time for them. I heard they were very good.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't know if that's just kind of maybe a time filler for the early slots.
maybe.
Maybe.
You know,
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, if they're giving they're giving like local. I don't know if they're local or not, but if they are, it's kind of nice to see them giving like a local act, a
yeah.
chance to play big, you know.
I could sit here and name bands that I've had on my show in the last 6 months that would all be great in that slot. You know, I mean, look,
Oh,
and I don't have anything against tribute bands per se. You know, I don't think they're without talent. I don't get it. You
yeah,
know, I would rather spend all that time and energy being myself and letting people hear me. You know, but that's just me. That's just my opinion. You know, I'm sure that's a
yeah.
consideration.
Oh, sure,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
they
But
did.
in that, I agree. You know, I mean, it should, that should be reserved for the guys that are working on their own material. Putting the work in,
Mhm.
trying. It'd be nice to see, like a local act every year. You
Right.
know, I get a slot there. I mean, we have Child's Play that gets in there, and those guys are amazing. Of
Mhm.
course, Kick every year. I mean, Kicks was not, they're local, but they're also national, right?
Right, 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 right.
But yeah, it'd be kind of cool to see, like, at least one every year, at least one little guy band be able to get in there and kind of,
Mhm.
you know, just to experience it if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it on this show in the last 6 months, well, actually not foul players. Again, I mentioned, I mean, 11 seasons so far, but the people I've interviewed here and on 97 Underground, I could name well over a dozen or two bands that would have been great in that slot, instead of, a Van Halen cover band. Again, I'm sure they're extremely talented. I'm sure maybe they have other things they do too. I really don't know those guys, but
Yeah,
I
I'm
mean,
not
hell,
sure
we
either.
could have had, you.
Yeah,
We could have had Thrill Ride. We could have had Chatterbox. We could have had
yeah,
Escape the Hive, who has Maryland roots. They're out in Arizona now. We could have had August. We could have had Scarlet Angel.
yeah.
40 years they've been around now. You know them, right?
I've been seeing them for at least 30.
Yeah,
So
I know. I
yeah,
know. Scarlet Angel, Blackleg Miner, Race the Rat would have been great.
yeah,
Psycho Boy. I mean, they're not playing actively now, but they're re-releasing their material.
yeah.
Um, Gaston would have been great too. That's another Kicks band. That's Mark Schenker's band.
What's it called?
And they're called Gaston. They were around in the 80s. And again, they
Oh,
were a recent guest on here too. They're
oh,
re-releasing their old material and putting out new material.
oh, nice.
Yep. I mean, there are a lot of bands. Red Dye Number 9, they're back.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of them. Yeah,
Yeah, they're
yeah,
great. I play them quite a bit on my show, and they're playing around quite. They're back with a vengeance, man. They're not just
cool.
doing a reunion every 6 months, man. They're out there pounding the pavement and doing great.
Nice.
So but then again, I think the organizers of that concert have a problem with 97 too. So, I'm not exactly unbiased in this
I've heard.
assessment.
I've heard rumors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, truthfully, I work there and I don't even know what it's about, but I just heard it's not good, so
same. I mean, 97 does a lot of good things for a lot of bands.
yeah, yeah.
Be nice to see like something like, which
Hmm.
of course, I have no stake and no skin in the game when it comes to how either 97 or Mayweather runs their business, but
Sure,
it's
sure.
nice to see it kind of,
Yeah,
have a good relationship because they can only help each other,
exactly, exactly. And we're not, you're not going to hear the local bands anywhere else around here. I mean, you may hear them for an hour a week. There's,
Yeah.
stations, do their, and a lot of it, there are reasons for that too. It's who's funding these stations has a lot to do with that,
Hmm. Yep.
but you're not going to turn on 97 Underground and hear Bachman Turner Overdrive 5 times a day,
Right. Yeah.
you're going to hear,
Thank
yep.
God.
Yeah. You're going to hear, you're going to hear, Red Dye Number 9. You're going to hear Thrill Ride. You're going to hear Gaston. You're going to hear, you know, uh, Tainted Saints and Scarlet Angel.
Yeah.
Mystic
fa-
Force, you're going to hear that
uh,
stuff,
of course, yeah. They and my favorite thing about it is when 97 started playing my stuff, it seemed surreal. And I can tell you I think the first time they played, I heard that
Mhm.
I hear you there. It was stuck between, I think it was Extreme
Uh-huh.
and Kiss.
Yeah.
So Extreme has my favorite guitar player, and Kiss is my favorite band of all time. So to
Mhm.
sit in those two bands and hear one of my songs was really surreal,
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, so I love that 97 kind of affords bands that luxury, you
Mhm.
know, be on a station like that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think there's great things to be seen and heard around here.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
there's good music here. How many times you hear people say, "Ah, man, there's no good music anymore. Music's over with it." Yes, there is. There's good
Yeah.
music. There's good bands around here.
Yep. And then
You know.
people will go out and want to experience it more,
Mhm.
get more of it. It's
Exactly.
yeah,
And you're
yep,
not hearing it. You're not hearing it on these commercial stations.
yeah,
You're not hearing it. You're hearing, a classic rock station. They're going to play the classics. They're not going to break out. And the thing is, in the last few years, Cheap Trick has put out some nice albums.
Oh,
Deep
those guys,
Purple has put out some nice albums.
absolutely, absolutely.
Tigers of
Yep.
Pantang are still going at it.
So I haven't heard their recent stuff, but yeah, I mean, but it's tons of those bands are still putting out quality material. They really,
I know, and it's huge in Europe. I wish it was huge here too. But that's where they're making their money is over in Europe. And there's other ones too that are around. The one band I've been playing is called Lilac. They're out of Savannah, Georgia. They've got great material.
is that Liliac the Kids or is that a
It's
different
not
band?
Liliac. They're
Oh,
Lilac.
okay.
They were
That's,
actually out before Liliac, and they spell their
oh,
name out Lilakk, and they made it two big K's at the end,
just
as not to get confused because they were starting to get confused with them.
okay.
Um, Another band that I don't know if you've heard them on 97, Frozen Tears out of Australia,
Yeah,
phenomenal.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
had them on the show, and really, really good, strong material. I love it.
Yeah,
They're definitely on my long car drive playlist. you know
yeah.
um and it's just a shame that they're just not getting the exposure that the crap is getting nowadays, or they're just
Yeah.
not playing the rehab. And if people could hear this stuff, they'd be like, yes, there is good music out
Yeah.
there. So I try to push that with my show.
Yeah.
I make it a practice to put on usually 40 to 50% local.
That's awesome. Yeah. Those three bands we played with on Friday, all three of them, solid bands, and
Yeah,
all different, all
right.
different.
Yeah,
And all three of them amazing.
yeah. Who
Yeah.
did you play with?
Liquid Lucky,
Okay.
band. Oh, what was the other band? Shoot, they're from Philly, and they have a full on 70s glam vibe to them. Why am I drawing a blank on the name of the band? That's horrible. The promoter, the promoter's going to kill me. Um, it'll come to me. And then the other band was Vertical Tracking,
Hmm.
who are awesome. That singer in Vertical Tracking is ridiculous. So yeah, and actually, it's funny. Like I didn't realize I was on a when I was Facebook, what do you call it? An interview, like a live interview, right? A video interview. And like we were all on the screen, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm like, I know, why do I know this guy? And I keep looking, I keep staring. We did a show together back in, oh, man, I don't know, the early 2000s, 2006, maybe something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, holy crap, I know you, holy shit! And I was so excited to get there and hear those guys play, and they did not disappoint.
Mm.
That is killing me that I cannot remember what the name of that band is now that we played with.
Yeah.
So,
I,
hold
I've
on,
been.
Cream Circus.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like,
Sure.
yeah, like the two 70s, 80s rock mags,
Mm-hmm.
Cream Circus.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Like kind of like punkish a little bit, like glam
Mm-hmm.
punk. Totally different and awesome.
Yeah.
So good.
Those were great magazines. I remember them. And I'm trying to talk Rocks into coming back, but I don't think they will.
I
I
would
still.
get that religiously.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Rocks was great. But you know what show is back? You remember Metal Shop?
Yeah. Yeah.
Metal Shop is back. It's on 97 Underground, 4 p.m. Mondays.
I started tuning in for that. I used to love that.
Yep. It's also on Saturdays at 7 on KRFK. That's Ron Keel's radio network. And he does like a syndicated, it's internet radio, but it's like a lot of syndicated shows. He has an one of Eddie Trunk's shows is on there too.
Okay.
And a couple of the people that have shows on our network are there too. Ron Keel's got a show on 97 as well.
Yeah, Streets of Rock and Roll. Right?
Yep.
Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Ron was actually on the High Vol music label. So Ron on that label when I got signed to it.
Oh.
So for about 5 seconds we were label mates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's great. Yeah, so I mean, there is something. I think we're going to see a rebirth. We may be at the beginning of it, but I'd like to be on this ride. You know.
Yeah, me and you both. If I jumped on now and it's going to be the right time, let's go.
Yep,
let's roll with it.
I mean, for what I've done right now, I mean, I played in electric bands years ago. I mean, the heyday for that for me was like 87 and 94. And then I came back a few years later doing acoustic and everything. And now I kind of look at myself as, you know, I'm the retired quarterback who's now in the broadcast booth, you know, because I really like, we have a great history here. I mean, you've been playing, you know.
Oh, yeah. Who did you play with back then?
Fritz's Dynamite at first, and then Orange Seed Parade.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I have most certainly seen you play then. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yep. Wow, that's so cool. Yeah, I remember Fritz's Dynamite. I know I saw Orange Seed Parade too, but I definitely saw Fritz's Dynamite, but not quite a few times, but definitely a few times. That's so cool.
Had a couple of bandmates. I mean, you said you're from over near Violetville. Our drummer lived over that way. Kenny Gosnell, used to call him Taz.
Yep.
And Dennis Dixon. He passed away a couple years ago, but
yeah,
you know, I really enjoyed playing with Dennis though. He was really good. Funny as hell, you know. I mean, it's a sad thing though nowadays, and I don't know if you've noticed this too, but it's like I feel like we go through these spurts where it's like you look at Facebook and, you know, and I've probably got 200 people that are friends from that time.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden you see RIP this one and RIP that one, and we're only in our 50s, you know, like, come on, man, you know?
Yeah. It's sad, but we are getting to that point where we're at the age where we're going to see it.
I know. It's like, yeah, I know now. You know, sadly, I mean, there were some of these guys that lived hard, you know, that never stopped, you know, but, you know, it's a real shame, you know, 55, you know, 50, 55, 57, you know, it's really a shame. And, you know, which is why I'm glad I'm seeing these guys getting their magnum opuses together.
Yep, absolutely.
Getting the magnum opus together, going out with, you know, you know, finally, no unfinished business. They're not going to walk through the pearly gates with unfinished business down here, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm part of that parade right now. For sure. Like I tell you what, so of course I haven't seen Child's playing forever, and when they played M3 last year, now I felt like I was 16 years old back at Daytona's again watching them. Like, this is so cool. Yeah. But and they played again this year and were phenomenal again. But yeah, I love seeing these guys that were doing it so long ago still at it. And yeah,
I reckon they're probably going to be like the ones to take that over. You know, I mean, since Kix is retired, they're probably going to have them do that every year.
Yeah, which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I know that when they did that last year, you know, M3, then I guess the Kix final show, they were the opener for that.
Yeah.
I think they did bring back some of the band members that had come and gone over the years. I know, of course, sadly, we lost Brian Jack about 15 years ago, but they had John Allen was pretty much singing, right? They had that guy, what's his name? Heiser or something.
Jason Heiser, yeah.
Jason Heiser playing drums.
And Larry, Their
Larry?
original, Larry Henshaw came out and sang with them, and they had another guitar player that was apparently in the band. Like, it was before I ever got around to seeing him, I guess. But he was out there playing too. I don't know about this year because I heard them, but I didn't get to see them.
Right.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to kind of be able to kind of hang around backstage a little bit. I was getting caught up with some people, but I was definitely listening. So I saw I saw the last song, but I can't remember who all was up there. But yeah,
Right.
yeah, but those guys are definitely, and they still sound just as good as they did back in the day, if not better.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, I saw I guess a little more than a year ago, I had Gina Shock on the show.
Oh
And
wow, yeah.
John Allen's playing drums for her whenever she plays too. You know, he's her drummer.
Oh, cool. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
They were at the rock and roll, or what is it? Hard Rock, the Hard Rock over in Harbor Place.
Yeah.
And she played, and he was playing drums for her, and Ed Lauer and a couple of other local folks were backing her up, and it sounded good, you know.
Gonna be a talented guy too.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me 30 years ago that I'd be standing in a room watching him play with Gina Shock,
Right.
But
Yeah.
hey, you know, that's the way life goes. It's always kind of unpredictable, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's a guy now. I don't know if you know Dean Kramer or not, but
yeah, Dean. Yeah.
yeah, he's playing for Brett Michaels now. So that was so cool seeing him up there Sunday night. I was like, oh yeah, so cool to see him, boy doing good, you know.
Yeah, you know, Scott McGinn from Face Dancer connected me to him. And we were in the process of booking him on the show when he got the Brett Michaels thing, and he's just been so busy ever since. I haven't had the chance to really schedule something. But Dean, you know, hey, anytime, bud. You know, just if you're listening, you know, offer's still good. You know.
He'll be a great interview. And a great hang. He is a good guy. Yeah, he's definitely one of the good ones around here, and extremely talented.
Yeah,
great player, great singer. Yeah. And makes it look effortless, which makes me just angry.
Right.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't played in such a long time. I think the last thing I did, I was actually playing bass in the folk ensemble at my church for a while.
Oh, okay.
And that didn't last too long. You know, I was a little rusty still. And but you know, sometimes I think I've got some unfinished business too that maybe I want to get back out and do, you know.
Do it.
You know,
Absolutely.
I just have to find the right time to do it, I guess. But I just think it's great. I mean, I really think we have a decent scene. If there were just more rooms that were supportive of it, you know, I mean, you know, Zen West does a great job with it. Morseburgers in Catonsville is very supportive of it. Fishhead, you know, people are getting shows there, you know. I've never dealt with them. I never played there, never dealt with the owners or anything, but I guess they're pretty good. I mean, they don't seem to have any shortage of shows, you know.
Yeah, Mike is kind of Mike Warden is like the main guy to talk to down there. Awesome to deal with. Yep. Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, you know, one of the reasons why I put this show together was to try to capture the history, you know, that we've had here, and I've had, you know, you and a lot of the current folks on, but I've also had DC Star, Face Dancer, you know, guys from the old days. August, I had the owner of the Bayou on from years ago.
Oh, wow.
And then I've had like a lot of news people and you know, TV personalities. Had you remember Captain 20? Had him on WDCA. Had Captain Chesapeake's daughter on.
Oh, cool.
Trying to capture the history, but I kind of like reminiscing about some of the clubs around here. Did you ever do the Old Mill in Dundalk?
No. No, I didn't play no, I never played that one. I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Heard about it.
That place was a trip. It was an old country bar, and the man that ran it was older, and he was not a heavy metal fan, but he loved the fact that, you know, Rocks and 97 were having shows there. And all ages shows, and he would be in there with these, industrial strength earmuffs on, just smiling, collecting the money coming in. And the one thing I remember about that place is they had this giant cowboy mural behind the stage, and they had these they put up these silver streamers. It was like this big these silver streamers in front of it, and
Yeah.
in the middle of the stage they had this. There was like a conduit came up. It looked like a submarine periscope came up, and it had all the switches for the lights on it. So that was like right in the middle of the stage, and it was just like, no way to cover that up. But that place was great, for both all ages shows, and then they do like a lot of classic rock bands at night. But they did a lot of Sunday shows there too.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you ever do the Rage?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Many times. I used to love going to that place.
Yep. If those walls could talk, I tell you, man.
What's that?
If those walls could talk.
Upstairs party room or the downstairs.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That was that was that was our I guess our version of Sin City there,
Yeah. Don't touch anything.
yeah, I know. But that gave a lot of people chances.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gave a lot of people chances,
I have a couple videos floating on here of like bands I was in way back in the day, like playing there. Yeah, a band called Vicious Wishes I was in for a while.
Vicious Wishes.
Yeah.
You played at Maxwell's with Child's Play, right?
So I wasn't in that version of it though.
Okay.
So I think that was before I joined. But yeah, I know those guys played there, but Child's Play before.
Yeah, the singer he had like a redheaded guy.
Yep. Yeah, John Adams. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. And then they changed the name, didn't they?
So it was Vicious Wishes for a long while. I got in. I always kind of seem to come at the tail end of everything, but I came in the tail end of that. And then we morphed that into a band called. So sorry. Morphed that into a band called Ring of Fire. We did a couple shows with that, and then it turned into a band called Naked City.
Okay.
I was in that for a while. There was one other name that they had.
Was it called Without Warning, or it was Vicious Wishes, and then it was something else that was like that, wasn't it?
It might be the other way around. They might have been Without Warning first, and then Vicious Wishes.
Okay.
That sounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Without Warning sounds familiar to me.
Right.
Yeah.
But I used to see them. They had there was like a thing at Maxwell's where it was like on Wednesday nights they would have all ages shows. And it was usually either Child's Play, and then I think after a while it was Mystic Force.
Okay.
They would always have like an opening act, and then they were always, I guess, almost you could call them the house band there for a while, where they were always playing their headline set, but then they would bring in an opener, and a lot of younger bands got a chance to play then too.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, I remember that band. Definitely.
Yeah.
Harford County based, right?
Yep. Yeah. I had a blast playing with those guys. We'd laugh our ass off and just have it. Yeah. I mean, of course, all good things must come to an end, right? But yeah, it was and actually John went on to my favorite thing John ever did later on, he put a band together called Martian Soul. And so the guy Mark Gable I was talking about earlier that I used to write songs with, he started off as their guitar player and he left, so they called me and I came in and did that. And that was actually kind of the precursor. That's the first time I ever played anything that I wrote live was with those guys.
Oh wow.
Like one or two songs. So that was kind of like, that was the first like inkling where I went, I might be able to pull that off at some point. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm never really concerned about it because John was a great front man and the songs he had were good. I'm like, I wasn't overly worried about it. But had a good time with that band too. And that was actually my favorite stuff that John ever did was that band. So he like kind of grew as a songwriter, got a little more modern. Kind of Marvelous 3 kind of feel to some of the stuff. Which is like, I don't know if you know them or not, but Butch Walker's one of my favorite songwriters of all time. So to kind of like, and of course I didn't really know much about Butch at the time or Marvelous 3, but when I kind of joined that, but yeah, that was a fun time, man.
It was
But yeah,
It was a magical time back in those days. You know, the 80s going into the 90s. It was kind of a lot of metalheads around here. A
oh
lot of
yeah,
metalheads around here. You know, the thing that was great was that there were a lot of places to play, and the way we networked was so much more social.
yeah,
You know, you know, they say social networking, but back then that was in person.
yeah.
So
You went out.
working. You went out, you put
Yeah.
flyers in people's hands, and you spoke to them.
Yep.
You know, it
Yeah.
wasn't just, you know, here, yeah, Facebook, yeah, boom.
Here, come see my band. Yeah, right.
Right. Right. I mean,
Yep.
you actually had to get out and talk to people and meet them and shake hands and have a beer with them and maybe sometimes give out a cassette or something. It was a lot different,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. I wish those times were back. I was just, I wish I had that time back. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, social media is convenient.
Yeah, it
you
is.
know.
It really
You can
is,
reach,
you know.
you can reach a lot more people in a very condensed amount of time, but
Hmm.
it's not the same. It's really
It
not.
isn't. It isn't. Yeah. And the thing that was really strange was right around 94, I stopped playing because I just
Yeah.
I was, you know, making $4 an hour and hadn't finished my degree. So I was just going to buckle down and focus on, you know, being self-reliant, we'll say, you know, and
Yeah.
getting myself established in work and a career, get a degree. So started playing again. I think it was around 06, 05, maybe.
Okay.
05, 06. Okay. So had the acoustic act, two-piece acoustic act. Because one thing I decided too is if I'm going to come back, I'm not dealing with 5 personalities. I'll deal with one, you know,
Yeah.
or 2,
Yeah.
you know, 2 of us in the band. And
Yeah.
we actually added a third person and that didn't last. And I was like, no, thank you, goodbye, you know.
Yeah.
So, but when we booked shows, I was like, all right, well, I'm going to go back out and work some magic. So I made some flyers and I walk in and I'm handing them to people. I'm like, what is this? And I said,
Yeah.
but it's a flyer. I'm playing here. What is this? What does this mean? I don't know. What does this mean? What is this?
Yeah.
Like, well, we have a show here and I'd like you to come see us, maybe, please. And
Yeah.
here it's, you know,
Here,
yeah,
it's a post that I printed out for you.
yeah,
Here.
they're like, I don't want this, you know, but they were looking at
Yeah.
me like I was like, instead of handing them a flyer to look at, they looked at me like I was coming over and coughing on them or something. You know, it was
Right.
just it was just
Yeah.
insane. I was like, I mean, not only did they just not, they were just unfamiliar with it, they were just almost hostile to it.
Right.
Like, get away from me. That's a flyer. You know,
Yeah.
like, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not going to throw acid in your face. You know, I'm giving you a flyer to invite you to my show. You know,
Yeah. It is
people, yeah.
so weird as how times have changed.
Hmm.
It's there's benefits to it for sure, but I mean the social aspect anything.
Hmm.
Going to a store and like self checkout,
Hmm.
which if I have one or two things, okay, but so something as simple as that, or like or go into a show, and just sitting there and the 3 people around you are sitting there like this on the, not paying one bit of attention to what's going on in front of them.
I know.
It's
I
like
know.
pouring their heart out 5 feet from you, playing their heart out for you, and you're just gonna sit there and ignore. Come on,
Hmm.
it's a little
Hmm.
disheartening a little bit, and so that's why I play a little extra harder and put a little more into that live show, so you have to watch me.
Oh,
Right?
yeah. Oh,
I
yeah.
want you. Yeah.
Oh yeah, well, it's the same thing too. When I do murder mystery shows, you know, I have a murder mystery company, and I see people doing that. I'll just go over to their table and I'll just like look over their shoulder, and
Yeah.
I'll be there. And you know, and then another time too, there was these people that were just rah, 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 at the table, and you know, we had to like shout over them to do the show. So I went over and I said hi, and they're talking and everything, and I sat down. I was like, really? Uh-huh. Hmm. Yeah, yeah, okay. And I said, and then they look at me like, what do you want? I was like, yeah, I was just wondering, you know, can the people in this room here that paid money to come see this show actually see it? You
Like to
mind?
enjoy it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know. And yeah, it's we've had some again, it's two different parallel worlds, you know. It's like you go to another planet and it's off a little bit, but it's the same in a lot of ways too. You know, the differences
Right.
between acting and playing music. You know,
Yeah.
there's like pros and cons and differences and things like that. But the thing that I find, and this is something that I don't know if you would agree with this or not, but um, I don't know if you go to theater much around here, but
Not often, but
one thing I was telling a couple of friends of mine was like, look, we made a huge mistake. Whenever we were looking for singers, we shouldn't have been out in the bars scouting people out. We should have been going to the theaters.
yeah.
And the thing about it is, you know, there are some people, there's a handful of people out there that, you know, the best singers and bands around here cannot hold a candle to some of these theater folks.
100%.
And
Yeah,
but
we
the
went and
prob-
saw I went and saw Wicked,
yeah,
which and it's funny you say that, because as I'm watching all these people, like, take these solos in these songs, I'm like, I really, like, you forget that, like, it's an not only are they acting, but there's an art form to their singing too, and they prefer,
yeah.
to respect both is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's all good. But I mean, and one thing that I was saying too was that, you know, I've gone out and I've seen some of these people sing, and then I've approached a couple of them. I was like, hey, look, you know, looking for a singer, you know, in a band. A band, oh my God, I could never do that. Like, what do you mean you could never do that? You know, I'm
Right.
like, they're like, oh my God, I'd be scared to death.
Yeah,
I'm like,
you're
what are you
literally
scared of?
yeah, you're fronting 30 people as opposed
Yeah.
to just there, right? Yeah.
Yeah. But some of them, it's just like, yeah, and my wife is an actress. She's got a beautiful voice, and I actually had her singing with us one night. We were playing in front of a packed house at it was a packed bar, loud in there and everything. And you know, she's done theater all over the country, all over the place, and got in there. She was like, "Oh my God," you know, looking at the crowd and everything, and you know, the fact that there's no there's no before the play starts, silence everybody, you know. You're in a bar. Hey, you're in a bar. People are drunk and they're loud, you know.
Turn on and go.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So so again, but they're similar but different, you know. But I've enjoyed both worlds, you know. I really have.
Hold on one second. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
Whew, there we go. All right.
Yeah.
I think we're good.
All cleared out, huh?
Yeah, but it gotta be a whole. Like, so it's funny. Like, I can, you put a guitar in my hand,
Mhm.
I'll go up in front of 10 people, or I've been fortunate enough to play for 20,000. Not a problem.
Mhm.
You give me a speech or something spoken word I gotta say in front of a crowd. Oh man, I have nothing but nerves. Nothing but nerves. And my boss cracks up at work. He's like, "How do you go in front of all these drunks, all these people in this bar, and could care less, right? And act like you own the place?" I'm like, "But I can't get you in front of like 3 people to give a presentation." I'm like, "I don't know, man. It's apples and oranges to me."
Yeah. You know, I think the hardest thing that I've done, and I did dabble in stand up for a while, and that is the hardest thing ever, because you know, if a joke bombs or something, you can't go, okay, 2, 3, 4, hit it, you know, just start playing again, you know. No, it's just you, and you're there, and you're stuck, and you gotta come up with something, you know, until you're, and that's the same way too with acting, because there's times when people go up on their lines. There's times when something will happen. You know, there are theater Spinal Tap moments too, and
I can imagine.
you know, there's times when you just have to roll with it. There's times when I was doing Shakespeare and I just couldn't spit it out, so I just yelled gibberish, and people didn't know any the better. I was like, so you see, and you just, and I know people on Broadway that say they do that once Oh,
Yeah. Like, that dude's really good. Did you see that?
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my, oh my. But
Yeah.
it's but I mean, we do it because we have to, you know.
Yeah.
It's
You're up
more than
there.
just wanting to do it. Do you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. It's it's intangible. I mean, it's hard to put into words exactly. I think what is inside people that
Mhm.
mode that kind of unknowingly motivates them to go in that direction as a a performer, whether it be an
Mhm.
actor, guitar guitar player, drum, whatever, musician. There's just something about it, and then you attack on like the first time you get in front of an audience and you get a positive reaction, and then that just drives that demon even further. And it's like,
Yep. Mhm.
now I have to do it. Now I want it again. I want it again. And yeah, I mean, I think my first show was in the basement of a church.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too. Me too.
yeah, we played a birthday party,
Mhm.
and even playing for I think it was like 15-year-old girls, and
Mhm.
some dudes hanging around. It was such a rush,
Oh yeah.
and then my next show was in front of 300 people, and I'm pretty much I had to change my underwear just,
Oh
just
yeah. Yeah.
we were done. I'm like, Jesus. Oh, but yeah,
Mhm.
but experience, and I definitely, if somebody even has an inkling of that kind of drive and that kind of talent in them,
Mhm.
man, harvest it and run with it.
Mhm.
It's like no, I mean, both. I mean, and you're one of the fortunate ones that got to experience it with both acting and music. There's
Yeah. Mhm.
nothing like it. I mean,
It
I guess same to be said for being like a great athlete. You go out there and you have an amazing game, and
Mhm.
I, I'm sure that rush is comparable for
Right.
sure, but it's different.
Mhm.
I think it's definitely different when you're entertaining somebody. You know,
Mhm. It
and
is. It is.
it makes
And
you feel good when they appreciate it.
yes,
And
yes. And and not only in front of audiences too, because I've done film and TV, and the audience that you have to get past in that are the casting directors who
yeah,
are evil. But anyway, shh, I didn't
oh,
say that.
yeah,
You know,
we can.
they're the spawn of Satan as far as I'm concerned. But the good part is once you've gotten through, and it's such a complex thing to get on a network TV show or in a movie.
Yeah,
Because I've had some trips to the dance. I've had a couple of as they say, like when you go to the major leagues, a couple cups of coffee.
yeah,
And once you get there, it's like you walk in, it's like Oz, oh,
yeah,
short-lived usually the parts I've gotten. I've only been on set 1 or 2 days, but
yeah,
um it's like, audition comes out, usually 500 people put in for it, 100 get seen,
yeah,
4 go to the network, and they go up to the top of the network, they pick 1. So
yeah,
it has to go all the way through the producers, the directors, the top of the network. They sign off on you, then they get the approval to give you the green light to come do the part.
right,
And it's like buying a lottery ticket sometimes. And the fact that I've been blessed to have the parts that I've gotten and everything, but it's like you want to get the next one, and you're like,
yeah, yeah,
and there's times when I thought, man, did I suck, and they called. And then there's other times when I'm like, oh, I got this one in the bag, slam dunk, and then nothing.
yeah,
It's the whole don't call us, we'll call you.
yeah,
It's tough. It really is tough, but the rewards could be great, but they're unfortunately short lived. I've only
right,
never had a recurring part. It's always been a guest star or something,
okay, yeah.
but
It's
the
good.
cup of coffee is a cup of coffee.
Exactly. I say, but at least you can say you got to do it.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep. You had my
yeah.
trip to the dance. So, well, tell us where we can find out about Thrill Ride and your material and everything else. Shameless
So,
plug time.
so we are on every streaming network there is. Your iTunes, your Amazon, Spotify, Pandora. I think Pandora, but pretty much everything. And you can catch us online. Right now, we're building the website. But we are on. You can find us on Facebook at Thrill Ride MD, as in Maryland, and on Instagram at Thrill Ride MD RNR.
Okay.
For rock roll. Yep. Anyway, like I said, we post there regularly. As shows come up, we'll have those posted up there. I'll have we have merch available for sale. We'll have that up there.
Okay.
T-shirts, koozies, what have you. Reach out to us to check us out. If you like good old fashioned rock and roll, I think we're for you.
Yep.
So yeah.
That's a sharp looking logo you have too, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
If you ever get Omar the tent maker making shirts for you, I'll be sure to buy one. Because I need a big boy shirt.
Well, I'm no little dude myself, so I more than likely have your size. You let me know, I'll send you one.
Did you do 3X?
I have 3X.
Perfect.
So,
perfect. Sold.
Yep. I will send you one. Absolutely.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, I'll get your info when we're done and get one out to you.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that for sure.
Oh, and thanks for saying about the logo. That was done by a woman named Leslie Byer.
Oh,
amazing graphic artist. So yeah, she's incredible. She designed both of the EPs. And then had a friend of mine kind of help me develop the back of the. So I took both EPs, and because they're already on the streaming on all the streaming platforms, I didn't re-release them because they're already out there. But I do have, and I don't know who buys these anymore, but I do have actually all 9 songs on one CD now. Anybody actually just wants them all in one place, I actually do have them all, in one actual CD now. So.
Great. Well, folks, make sure that you get out and you buy some stuff. Very, very important. Very, very important. So your the links will be in the show notes of this episode. I'll have your Facebook and your Instagram in there. And you can, again, remember, you can buy it wherever you pretty much buy music online, you would say. And then you're going to have your merch ready soon too. And I'm sure you'll probably have links on your Facebook pages to those pages as well.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Great. So remember, folks, support locals. Support locals. As I say, buy local or buy local, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, no.
Exactly. So get out there,
Yeah.
And what I tell people too is like, there's nothing wrong with giving a local band CD to somebody for a present.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, as I tell people, and I say this in the the bumpers, for the show and everything, the intro and everything, everybody, I put links to their stuff in the show notes of every episode. And, I say, tickets to their shows, their books, their albums, their DVDs, their movies, wherever you can order them online, please support.
Yeah.
Please support them. Don't just stream, you have to get 1 million streams, you get a nickel for that or whatever. That's a ripoff.
Yeah.
So make sure you buy. They make great gifts. Christmas and the holidays right around the corner,
Right.
They're always right around the corner, no matter what time of the year it is, so these make great gifts. They help folks realize their dream, so get out there and support them. So thanks again, Denny. It was great to speak with you. Great to catch up. And I appreciate you coming on. So, so remember, Thrill Ride MD, R&R. Get out there and support them, folks. And we'll see you next time. You're listening to Fowl Players Radio. Thanks for listening. And thanks again for tuning in tonight to Season 11, Episode 19 with Denny Grace from Thrill Ride. We had a great time talking to him tonight. We had a really fun conversation talking about his new material, recent shows at Fishhead Cantina, performing in this crazy Baltimore music scene from years ago, and much, much more. His links to his Facebook and Instagram are in the show notes. So make sure you go there, and that will serve as their website until it's up and running. Remember, the Fowl Players of Perryville, we have shows lined up all over the place. If you're interested in seeing a show, foulplayersofperryville.com. And also, if you want to book us, 443-600-0446 or foulplayersperryville@yahoo.com. Every Tuesday from 4 to 6, you can hear me on 97underground.com, the back of the rack, the Michael Spedden Show. Download the free app. You can listen anytime, anywhere you go. And also remember our YouTube page, youtube.com/@97underground, Michael Spedden. Thank you so much for all your support. We really appreciate you tuning in and listening and spreading the word and telling people. Make sure that you support our guests in their endeavors, the tickets to their shows, their CDs, albums, whatever they have up. Make sure you're supporting that. And remember to tell your friends, foulplayersradio.com and youtube.com/@foulplayersradio, and hit that like and subscribe button and tell others about it. We appreciate all your support, folks. This is Michael Spedden signing off, and we will see you all next time.